Hey guys, this is my part two of my NFL mock draft. Uh, so I'll be discussing the picks from 11 to 20. I've did my part one this morning, so that's on YouTube already. Um, so let's get right into it. At 11, it's the Minnesota Vikings. Uh, there hasn't been a cornerback taken yet, and this is where I think the first will go. It's a bit of a no-brainer which cornerback it will be. The Vikings have had some trouble opposite Xavier Rhodes, their cornerback from a couple of years ago. So I think they'll take Trey Waynes, who's by far the best cornerback in this draft, um, from Michigan State. He's really, really good man-to-man, you know, cornerback. So he'll work well in that defense with the Vikings. With the 12th pick, it's the Cleveland Browns. This is where I think finally Marcus Mariota will be taken uh, off the board. The rumors with Johnny Manziel don't look good. He's lost a lot of people, a lot of people's trust in that organization, and I don't think he's the future of that team. So um, Marcus Mariota makes perfect sense for the Browns because they're kind of, especially on offense, in a bit of a rebuilding mode. So I think that's the likely option. At 13, it's the New Orleans Saints. Um, it's definitely not your usual thing to see the New Orleans Saints drafting this high up in the draft. But I think they're going to take good advantage of it, and I think they're going to take Alvin Bud Dupree out of Kentucky, the pass rusher. One of my favorite players in this draft. I really like Bud Dupree. Obviously, they've got Cameron Jordan on one side. There's actually been a few rumors of the Saints possibly trading Cameron Jordan. I don't think that'll happen, and I don't think they should do that. I think that'd be a mistake. So if Cameron Jordan on one side and Alvin Bud Dupree on the other would be a real, and they've still got Junior Galette as well. So that'd be a good pass rushing trio right there for the Saints. And they could have a real good defensive line with that pick. At 14, it's the Miami Dolphins. I think the pick will be Devontae Parker. Unfortunately, the teams in the AFC East just get richer and richer. Devontae Parker to the Dolphins, he's better than 14. He should go higher, but there's not too many teams that have a wide receiver need. I think Devontae Parker will be gone to the Dolphins. Um, at 15 is the 49ers. Again, another team, not usually picking in the top 15. I think the first nose tackle or true defensive tackle will be off the board here, and I think they're going to go with Danny Shelton. If there was a linebacker with first round talent, obviously that would be the way to go because of Patrick Willis retiring and then Chris Borland retiring as well. Very surprising retirements from both. The future is still really unclear for Justin Smith as well on the defensive line. So I think Danny Shelton could be a good fit in San Francisco. Then it's the Houston Texans. The Texans really, they haven't got many needs. Even it sounds weird when you say that because they haven't been in the to the playoffs this past season. But obviously they got Vince Wilfork in free agency from the Patriots. They re-signed Kareem Jackson at cornerback. Kind of overpaid for him, but at least they kept him. Um, they obviously they lost Andre Johnson, so the pick should be a wide receiver, you'd think, but I don't think they will go wide receiver. I think they'll leave that. Apart from that, they've got some really solid players at each position. But I think they are missing a bit at safety, and I think they're gonna go with a strong safety, the best safety in the draft, which is Landon Collins from Alabama. I think he's a good fit with the Texans defense and what they want to do over there, with Romeo Crennel, and that would just make their defense even stronger, because they've got Jadeveon Clowney coming back from from injury. Obviously, J.J. Watt, the best defensive player in the league. They've got good, cornerback tandem. So to pair that up with a good safety would be, a great move for the Texans. Then at 17, there's the San Diego Chargers. And I think the first running back will be off the board here. Obviously, they lost Ryan Matthews to the Eagles. So I think a lot of people think Melvin Gordon will be the first running back taken, and I think there's a really good argument for that. Especially since Todd Gurley, the best running back in the NFL, is coming off a bad injury. But because he is the best running back and his upside, if he can get over the injuries, and all it takes is one team to be sold on him and believe his injuries won't occur again. Todd Gurley is better than Melvin Gordon by quite some distance. He's by far the best running back since in a few years to be in the draft. So I think Todd Gurley to the Chargers, natural fit. They bolstered their offensive line in free agency, so getting you running back as well, it could work well with the revamped offensive line they've built there. After that, 18, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, who I think will go with Ereck Flowers from Miami, the offensive tackle, probably right tackle in the NFL, especially since the Chiefs have their left tackle already in Eric Fisher. So if they did take Ereck Flowers, that's two young tackles, for the future they've got plugged in right away. So that would be again a good move, especially since the Chiefs love to run the ball and he's a good run. He's a good blocking, offensive lineman, but probably maybe a bit better run blocking than pass protecting, but he'll get better at that, obviously. Then at 19, there's the Cleveland Browns with their second pick in the in the first round. I think they're going to go with. It makes perfect sense to take your quarterback of the future, with the 12th pick, and then get a monstrous wide receiver, in the same draft class to pair with him, so they can gel together straight away. And I think that'll be Brashard Perriman from Central Florida, small school, not one of the big college teams, but to pair him up with Marcus Mariota, that would be a great move. And I think he's 6'5". He's a beast of a wide receiver. And then the last pick of the top 20 is the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're going to go with a cornerback to pair opposite Byron Maxwell, which would be the perfect kind of off season for their to get rid of Cary Williams and Bradley Fletcher, and to bring in Byron Maxwell and the guy I'm going to say in a minute. That is a massive jump in terms of talent, in one off season, to get two players so much better than the two they got rid of. I think that the cornerback they're going to take has had some off-field issues, and I think he would be a lot better. A lot closer to Trey Waynes in this draft class in terms of. I think their abilities are very similar and they're quite close together. Obviously, it's his off-field issues that are pushing him down, but again, a bit like Randy Gregory, he's too good to go out the first round, which some people think he might. So I think the pick will be Marcus Peters from Washington. He's, his talent is tremendous. He's, got so much upside as a corner. And I think to pair him with Byron Maxwell would just, really shore up that secondary for the Eagles. So that's my second part. I'll probably have part 3 up tomorrow. But yeah, definitely excited to see what happens in this draft, see if I can get any of these picks right, and hope you guys enjoy. See you later.